We all know that Draymond Green would love to have LeBron James' as baby and be teammates. I've never seen a love affair quite like Draymond Green's affinity for LeBron James. What I really, really don't like about what Draymond Green is saying, and look, it's been so normalized to talk and think this way, but it shouldn't be normal and it's not healthy. This whole inference that I can't believe you talk about a black father this way, as if there's some special level of treatment that Stephen A. owes LeBron James because of the color of his skin.
Jason Whitlock reacts to Draymond Green going off on Stephen A. Smith. Check out what he had to say, and then I'll come back with my comments.
Draymond Green, he's now weighed. Everybody's weighed in on Stephen A. Smith and LeBron James and that dust up. And now Draymond Green has weighed in. We all know that Draymond Green would love to have LeBron James' as baby and be teammates. I've never seen a love affair quite like Draymond Green's affinity for LeBron James.
Yeah, you already know Dre gonna crash out about Bron, no matter who it is. It can be family, friends. You say anything about LeBron, Draymond Green, he gonna see you in person. It's not gonna be good.
But here's Draymond on having no respect for Stephen A. Smith.
You make sure you tell Stephen A. that I have zero respect for what he said yesterday.
Be careful, Stephen.
You go on TV, national TV, calling out this African-American, this black father who's raised another successful black young man. And you go on TV calling him out as a father because his son played in the NBA? That's backwards. You are on national TV condemning a black man as a father because his son is playing in the NBA. Like, how does that even make sense? And I told Bob that. I said, you should tell him. Like, I can't respect that. Like, if you want to talk about him as a basketball player, talk about him as a basketball player. If you want to talk about Bronny as a basketball player, go ahead. He an NBA player.
There we go. Yeah, again, you know, Draymond had to do this. More of a calculated response, throwing out the race card. It's a shame it had to go that route. It's one thing if you don't agree with Stephen A. Smith, but to kind of discredit him, knowing what Stephen A. Smith represents, especially ESPN, Disney, you already know where he stands. So for Dre to go this way with it, terrible look.
There's a lot I don't like about those comments, but I want you go first, Steve.
Believe it or not, I think this is becoming really unfair to Stephen A. Smith. He gave an opinion. He gave an opinion that, by the way, most people agree with. And I don't think he was attacking him per se as a father or a black father. I think what he meant, and I think it was pretty clear, is like you're putting your son in a very unfair situation. Most people would agree with that. Stephen A. Smith's job, whether we like his opinions or not, is to give his opinion. And by the way, the more honest, the more unfiltered, the better.
Yeah, again, people spun his comments out of context. He just said as a father, X, Y, and Z with Bronny, but now they're trying to spin it, bring in the racial component. You got people like Draymond Green, even Nick Wright doing there like as a black father. So again, if you're Stephen A. Smith, I know you've been responding, but you're not going to win this argument. You pretty much took the L on this situation because everybody in the media that rocks with you is slowly going against you.
It is okay if we disagree with them. Now this thing is delving into this whole personal issue, and I don't know if it's about the opinion or just Stephen A. the individual. Now that's a different argument, okay? But yeah, I actually believe a lot of this now is unfair to that man right there.
And another thing is he got that $100 million contract, so you already know people feel a certain way about that. And then second, the celebrity and the fame or the notoriety that he has, that's another thing. And then the political component. You know, he may say some things that are right-leaning and left-leaning. So people are paying attention to Stephen A. Smith. They're trying to get rid of him.
I think it's unfair. The only reason why I won't whine too hard is because I think some of this, I feel like it's manufactured. I don't, the authenticity of it, I'm just not buying. Now,
I know what I'm
let
talking
me address
about.
it, just taking things at face value. What I really, really don't like about what Draymond Green is saying, and look, it's been so normalized to talk and think this way, but it shouldn't be normal and it's not healthy. This whole inference that I can't believe you talk about a black father this way, is if there's some special level of treatment that Stephen A. owes LeBron James because of the color of his skin.
Yeah, it's just race pandering at the end of the day. I don't even think Draymond Green believes that, but when you have these specific arguments or back and forths, you throw in the race card, the black, white, whatever, but it's obvious that Draymond Green, unfortunately, he's a pawn to LeBron James and clutch sports.
And people just say this like it's the equivalent of saying today is Tuesday.
Yeah.
And it's like it's a settled upon fact that today is Tuesday, and it's a settled upon fact that if you have melanin or more melanin in your skin, you're not supposed to say certain things about people that share some level of your melanin. Steve, this is crazy.
Yeah, if you're going to use the race card, at least use it where it really matters. Stephen A. talking about LeBron, Bronny in this capacity, the race card isn't needed. So, again, there's bigger issues at hand if you want to use that. But to use it now, again, terrible look by Draymond and other people that are commenting on this issue with LeBron and Stephen A.
You can't, for all of these platforms, and again, I know this isn't ESPN, this is Draymond's own podcast, and he has freedom of speech. But for this to be normalized and sent out to young people that, hey, there's a special set of rules for black people that they have to adhere to, or they're outside the norm, or they should be rebuked. I just can't believe that's where we are as a society, but it is where we are. We've been there for a long time. It doesn't seem to be receding at all. It just seems to be getting more and more prevalent. And Draymond Green is calling for a special, he doesn't fully understand it, but he's calling for a special set of rules for black people. This is unsustainable.
Yeah, Draymond, he's positioning himself in mainstream media. Basketball career is coming to an end soon, so he's going to have these type of conversations. Even if he doesn't want to, he has to bring up the race card. He has to bring up these certain issues. It went from a sports thing all the way into now you're just talking about this if you're Draymond and just other people commenting on it. Again, Stephen A. didn't even mean it like that. He just threw it in there as a father, and then now this whole thing is spun all over the place. So this is all a part of the process. If you're Draymond Green, just positioning yourself to get one of those jobs at ESPN, just to be a contributor to the NBA. It's all a part of the plan.
Jason, one of my favorite Thomas Sowell quotes or statements, and I've said this before on this show, and I think it rings very true. For those who have been given preferential treatment their whole lives, equal treatment seems oppressive. End of quote.
Drop the mic.
It's actually a marvelous statement, and that does kind of summarize what Draymond is expressing and what he's exposing about himself, is that I've been an elite athlete. People have catered to me. I've been allowed to flout the rules and do things no one else can do because I'm 6'5", 6'6", and can play basketball. And now I've established this, hey, if I'm a father and my skin is black and I'm participating in my son's life, I'm beyond criticism. You can't criticize anything I do as a father. And I'm just sorry, Stephen A.'s comments about LeBron James they didn't cross some line. They weren't over the top. They weren't deeply personal. They were an examination of, hey, man, you put your son in this spot. You made the Lakers draft him. And this is the position, so Bronny's got to deal with this. But I'm just telling you, see, I listened to what Draymond is saying, and it makes me sad.
Yeah, it is sad to go that route with it. But again, it's all a part of clutch sports, LeBron, the mainstream media, throwing out these different type of cards at everyone, even to Stephen A. Smith, that's, standing up for people, black people in general. So for Draymond to spin it this way, I think it's just a planned attack on Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. has said some things over the years about LeBron, and Draymond is finally on, Team Clutch Sports. So perfect opportunity for Dre to crash out on Stephen A. Smith and to throw out these disrespectful things towards Stephen A.
I don't know if beyond me, if there's going to be any other black sports media people, content creators that are going to be offended and or just talk about This guy's on a platform just kind of proudly saying, hey, as a black person, I need a different level of treatment than everybody else. I'm owed that. And I guess he feels like he's owed that because of slavery 160 years ago or Jim Crow, which was, 70 years ago. As a black father, LeBron James is a billionaire. He needs a special level of treatment? Really?
Again, just for the conversation to go this route, I don't like it personally. And this is coming from a black dude. Why throw out the race car with Stephen A. Smith? You know he's with Disney. You know he's with ESPN. You know where he stands as far as issues like this. So for it to go this route, it's just a bad look for Draymond and anybody that's taking this direction with the conversation. We know Stephen A. Smith didn't mean any disrespect toward LeBron as a father. He was just saying, look, bruh, your son isn't playing good. Don't put him in this position. As a father, that's something to think about. But, of course, it had to go this way. And, again, LeBron James, he's basically running the media right now. He has his puppets like Draymond and Nick Wright and other people, that are coming up in the media space. The new media, they're going to be defending LeBron James at all costs.